Hey, my friend. In this video, I want to talk about what helped me to overcome alcohol and drug addiction and also burnout. But I will just scratch the surface of these topics because it would be a long video. I could talk hours about it. If you have some specific questions, feel free to ask me anything in the comment section, or if you want, you can write me an email. You find it in the channel description. So, my journey with addiction began before I was born, to be honest, because my father, my mother, they all they consumed alcohol and cigarettes. And most of the people I know, they all are drinking and smoking. Some of them more and some of them less, but nearly everyone. And when I grow up, every time when we visit my grandparents, we we were sitting in the kitchen and with many people, and everyone was smoking and drinking. And especially in winter time, we had our windows closed because it's really cold, and most of the time you couldn't see your hand in front of your eyes. It was really extreme. And so I grew up in a cloud of smoke. It's in my DNA. Also, my first sips of alcohol, it was when I was 3, 4, 5 years old, so very early. And that's of course, a main reason. And like I said, there are at least three big reasons why I got addicted. And yeah, maybe it can help someone to reflect on their own situation. And the next reason was mm, most of uh, my people, they all told me that alcohol and cigarettes and drugs are really bad. I should never do it. But most of my people, they are smoking and drinking, and I thought they are lying. They are all lying. And I didn't understand why are they lying. And they told me that drugs, for example, are even worse than alcohol and cigarettes. And I thought again, why would you tell me this? You don't have any idea because they never tried to explain something. And I thought, okay, why are you talking about stuff you didn't even know and experienced? So I couldn't understand. And here, the first point, I think it's so important to communicate with our children the right way and to be a good example. I would never act with my children like this. And that's also why I'm really grateful for this journey. I don't want anybody to feel sorry for me. I don't want to play a victim. I don't want to hurt my family. It's difficult for me. I don't want them to feel guilty or to feel shame. But like I said, maybe it helps anyone to reflect on their own experience. And yeah, that was the second big reason because I remember when I was really, really young, like 3, 4, 5 years old, I thought they were lying to me, and that set me on unconsciously or half consciously on a mission. My mission was to find out the truth. I remember really good that I had this feeling that I need to find out the truth on my own. And I thought, okay, when I maybe I need to try every substance on earth to find out the truth. Maybe I have to. I don't thought to become an alcoholic, but of course I thought I will try out everything to understand the truth behind it. And the next thing, the third reason was, of course, that of because of childhood trauma, I wanted to numb my pain, and I wanted to get rid of my pain, and I was abusing all the substances. I didn't. That was the point. Also in my life, I lost myself because I was on this path when I got older. I tried everything, every substance, and the problem was I didn't just try it. I think it's not a problem to try a bunch of stuff, but the problem is when you lose yourself and when you get addicted. And it happened to me, so because I was abusing it to self-medicate. And it took me over 10 years to understand all this, because to get rid of addiction or even burnout, you need to understand what are you seeking for? What are you seeking for, and why are you seeking for? So, and there is our conscious mind. If you ask yourself, why do I do this? And what am I seeking for and why? If you ask your conscious mind, you will get some answers. But there are really deep subconscious layers to it. And I had to ask myself over 10 years. I figured out why I do it, and I felt better, and I stopped doing some drugs and alcohol, but I kept relapsing over and over and over again. And I had to ask myself over and over again the same questions. What am I seeking for and why? And it I was diving really deep, and I found out, for example, with alcohol and cigarettes, I hated alcohol my whole life, and also cigarettes, because cigarettes, they don't have a real effect for me. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's just smoke. And I didn't like the effect of alcohol, but it was so hard for me to stop. And what I figured out the last years, I don't know, the last 2 or 3 years, I figured out I have such a hard time to stop because subconsciously my inner child feels connected, a really, really deep connection to my parents and to my loved ones. Every time when I smoke a cigarette, and every time when I drink beer or booze, some hard liquor, I feel like home. But it was not consciously. I don't sit there and drink and smoke and feel like home. It's really, really deep inside me. It took me over 10 years to notice this subconscious feeling. And when I figured this out, it helped me really a lot, because because I understood more of why do I do it, because I was seeking for connection and love, and I never learned how to love myself, for example. And I had to figure out why I do it, what am I seeking and why. And then I had to learn to love myself and to give it to myself, because I was constantly seeking validation, love, and connection outside of me with the substances and also with working. I was addicted to everything, to chocolate, to sex, to working. Um, I had like I was addicted to everything. I overdid everything because I was constantly sick because I never got the love that I wanted, that I needed. And so I crashed in every area of my life. This addiction stuff affected every area of my life. And it got better when I started to love myself and when I noticed all these limiting beliefs I developed as a child. Because at some point I noticed how similar I am to my parents. I'm like my parents, and I never wanted to be like my parents, God forbid. But my mother, for example, she's a really good cook, and she was a great housewife. She did a great job. It was every time very clean, and she could cook very good. And my father, he hated his job. He still hates his job, but he has a passion. His biggest passion are after not just alcohol, because he loves wine. He's not an alcoholic, but he loves wine and cigarettes. But his biggest passion is landscaping. He's an awesome landscaper. He designs and creates beautiful gardens for all his friends and for himself, and he really loves it. And the point is, I love cleaning. I love to be in clean spaces. I love cooking. I learned cooking. And I have a big passion for landscaping. Even when I was, or when I, as a young adult, as a teenager, I made an apprenticeship as truck and car mechanic. So I'm a mechanic, but my passion, like my father, I had a job that I don't like, and I have this passion for landscaping and cooking and cleaning. And then some time ago, I asked myself, what am I doing? Why do I love this stuff? And I asked myself, why do I love cooking and cleaning and landscaping? And every time when I was in a relationship, I did everything. I'm cooking for my girlfriend, I'm cleaning, I'm growing our own food. I do everything. And it was never enough. So I developed all these limiting beliefs of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and money is hard to make and all this stuff. And I asked myself, why do I do this? And back in the days, my answer was, yeah, because you like clean spaces. It's good to clean. And I thought, okay, yes. I love to eat good food. So nothing wrong with cooking, right? I love to grow my own food. So nothing wrong with gardening, right? And I thought there is nothing wrong with it. And yeah, it's nothing wrong with it, but if you do it in a toxic way, it is wrong. Because who are you? I ask myself, who am I? Am I just a product of my parents in form of, do I just repeat their hobbies and their stuff, or do I have my own identity? With When I got my first burnout 2017, I had a big identity crisis, and I was not even really aware of it because I recognized some years ago I love to do all this stuff, but I do it. I love cooking, cleaning, and landscaping because a part of me feels the a big connection with my parents. And for example, my inner child thought was thinking, when I'm a good cook, my mother will be proud of me. When I have a clean space, my mother will be proud of me. When I'm a good landscaper, my father will be proud of me. And it took me a long, long time to get to this point. Because the thing is, I started to discover my own identity. I remembered myself when I was a child, I had some talents. I was I had a talent for writing in school. I never I never was drawn to writing. I never thought I liked to write, but I needed to write in school. I needed to write stories, for example. And I was really good. I was channeling. I was not aware of it. I was a nature talent. And I was always the best. But I never practiced it because my parents, they are not writer. They always told me I need to work something real to make money. I cannot write. That's not a real work. And I'm also passionate. I was so passionate about history, for example, the subject of history in school. And I love building tree houses, for example, as a child. And even today, I still love to be up in the trees and to build tree houses. And I love to sit in a tree house and write, for example, even today. And that's more of my identity. But I did all this other stuff constantly. I thought, okay, I need to grow my own food, I need to clean, I need to cook. And when I have done all this stuff, then I have time for my own stuff. Then I have time to learn how to write. Then I can build tree houses or whatever. But I never come to this point because I had, I, there was so much things to do. It was never enough for me to. I had always more plants to plant. I had always more to clean. I had always more to cook. I have had always more to do. And then I burned out. I had two major burnouts. And I learned a lot. And I'm really grateful for these experiences because now I know more about myself. I'm still work in process. I'm not perfect, but the last weeks I had also a difficult time, and I felt like a part of my old identity, my old personality was kicking in. I felt like a failure, and I felt trapped in a place which I don't like, and I felt the urge to do something. I need to change. I need to change, and nothing bad with it, but I felt scared and, like I said, like a failure. And that was stressing me out. And the problem is, from my experience, it's not so good when you react to these emotions. The better solution is, which I learned, is to allow yourself to feel these emotions and start over again. Make a step back and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What are my thoughts about this topic? And is there actually a reason to be scared? And I found out I'm impatient. I want to change. And the change is not a bad thing, but I had to come back into my center. I had to reconnect with myself and to relax again. Because I can change, I can take some steps, I can make some decisions, but I will make better decisions when I'm relaxed and when I when I'm stressed out, I will not be able to make a good decision. And yes, so I think I leave it there. I hope there is some value for someone, and if not, it's just a story. And yeah, if you're still here, thank you for spending time for me. If you have some questions, I love to read your comments. And yeah, see you in the